Hi everybody, Jamie here. I'm up today showing you a 6x12 layout. These are two photos from me on Snapchat. I use Snapchat a lot, obviously. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab these two paint sticks that I got from Daiso. They're metallic, and they're kind of more of like an oil pastel than anything. And I wanted to have a mixture of the two of them because the blue is just too blue and the purple wasn't really the colour I was going for. I was trying to get a colour similar to that of my shirt, which is kind of like a sky blue. It ended up looking a little more galaxy than I had planned, but I still like it. So I just rub on the blue. It's a lot more oil pastel-y, and so these came in a pack of 5, and they are $2.80. If you go to Daiso in Australia, everything's $2.80. And then once I stick the blue down, I quickly chucked on the purple over the top. And I tried blending it together with my finger, and I tested this before and it worked really good, but then this time it didn't work as well as I had liked. So in a bit I do end up grabbing a baby wipe and wiping it together. I'm just layering the purple on top of the blue again because the blue was really showing through and a lot more dominant. Here I am now about to go get a baby wipe to mix it all together, and the baby wipe did work really well, and I'm happy with how it turned out. It's just not the plan that I had anticipated. It's very galaxy. I do think I want to use this technique to do an art journal page. I think that'll look really awesome. So just blending that all together, blending. I do add a little bit more purple because the blue's showing through a lot and I was kind of wanting more of a purpley look. So I'm just measuring up with the photos just to make sure that everything kind of covered how I like. Adding a little bit more purple and then blending it all together. This next section that I do, a lot of it came off and I'm not sure why. Here I am just blending again. Blending. There's a lot of blending in this part while I'm doing that. This actually dries very, very quickly. It's a lot more like an oil pastel. It does go on like a metallic paint, but it's a lot more like an oil pastel. So I'm just putting the two photos on. These photos are 3x4. I know I wanted to have one of them kind of half sitting on top. I do wish that the other photo, the one that's below, was on top, but there was a little heart in the corner that I wanted to cover. So I've decided to do it like that. I'm going through a paper pad from the Reject store. I do grab a couple out, but I do end up only using the one that's currently sitting on my desk. A lot of the paper I use is from the Reject store just because I have such easy access to it here in Australia. I do use that one as well, those little strips. I tend to use the same photo mounts when I'm doing multiple photos to keep them kind of connected together. I think it looks a lot nicer like that. That's just my style. It's definitely an awesome technique because you're definitely keeping your two photos together. With these photos, because they are so similar, I could have used a lot of different papers, but I did want that blue and purple mixture in the background to stand out more, so I did go with just some plain black. These are sort of a dark browny colour, and I did that because obviously my hair is dark brown as well as the glasses in both of the videos are a brown colour, so I used those. I'm just sticking them down with some double-sided tape and then trimming off the edges. I do try to make this sort of green, copper and cream one work, and I don't end up using it, so I'm going to grab my scrap box. I'm looking through it to see if there's anything I could use, and I do grab out a couple of papers. I think I grab out a galaxy one, just there, and I'm pretty sure that's all I grab, another galaxy one. They're also from a Reject store collection, probably from about a year ago, so I don't think you'll be able to still get it. The one thing about the Reject store that's a bit annoying is they don't carry their collections for long. So it's probably there for maybe 2 months, then once a new collection's there, it's gone. So I tend to always pick them up, but I probably shouldn't. I should probably only pick up the ones that I like. So I'm just sticking these on with some double-sided tape. If you haven't done a 6x12 layout before, I'd really recommend doing it. It's such an interesting shape to work with because it's so thin. It's so thin and tall and you're really constricted to work within the confines. It's definitely very different to doing a 12 by 12 or even doing an 8.5 by 11 or a 9 by 12. I do cut out a little bit of me just sorting through papers and going and doing a bit of things I'm just ripping the edge off of this paper here to have a ripped edge on this layer. I only do it to this one, I believe, and just sticking that down again with some double-sided tape. I do all my paper layers with double-sided tape for every layout that I do. I find it a lot easier and a lot quicker. I'm adding just kind of a section that's maybe got about half an inch cut off on the side, and I'm using the exact same paper to mat the other photo as well. Like I said, I like using the same paper when I have multiple photos because I think it ties them both together. I find it hard to work with multiple photos on one layout because I always did single photos when I first started, and I'm trying to push myself this year to try different techniques and different styles that I haven't done before. I'm really trying to push how my scrapbooking is going. So I'm just lining it up onto the piece of paper, and it's out of frame, but I think I do move it in a minute. And I'm sticking on that first one over the top of this one first because I want to get it in the right position that I want it before I stick it down. I'm just sticking it down with some double-sided tape, and it did stick on top of the paint a lot easier. I probably should have used some glue, but the page was very warped because of that paint. You can't really tell, but it is very warped, and I've actually had to squish it down before I glued anything else on because it was so warped. So I've stuck it down with some double-sided tape, and I do grab out a pen to do a doodly border. I'm going through a big doodly border phase at the moment. I really like how it ties layouts together. I tend to do it more when I'm using mixed media because I just really like how it looks. I've always used black for doodly borders, but I'm kind of thinking now to possibly get some different coloured felt tips and try and do something like that. I think that might be really interesting, something to try. Ooh, ideas are popping in my head. So I do grab out my wood veneer and my resin pieces, and I'm just putting them off to the side. I don't use them yet. And I have already planned out the title for this layout because the alphas that I had chosen to go with it, I didn't have a lot down. So the layout I go for is Cozy Girl, and I'm just using I'm using some PVA glue to stick that down. These are gold thickers. I think they're called Gilded. I am looking to see if I could do possibly like kind of like a wavy title at the top. I know I wanted the words to be underneath the photo, and I do end up sticking the girl pretty much in exactly the same spot, but the cozy I do pull up a lot underneath that top photo. I like because it kind of looks like the photo is sitting on the title, and it's kind of low. It's kind of a shelf for the photo, and I like the look that it's given. I also really like how the gold has popped on the metallic. You can't tell in the video, but it is very metallic in real life. Especially underneath a light, it's very shiny and very, very bright. So I'm just sticking that all down with some glue. So while I'm doing that, what are your thoughts on some times for me to upload some videos? I'm really interested to know when you guys want videos, what days do you watch videos? I'm aiming for one video a week for now, and I'm hoping to eventually go into doing 2 videos a week. I'm doing project life as well as layouts, and occasionally maybe an art journal page, but that will be not very often because I don't do art journal pages that often. Do you guys like mixed media? Do you like pattern paper backgrounds? I do tend to do white cardstock as my background mainly because I like the cleanness of it, which is definitely something I do. You'll notice if you hop over to my Instagram, it's jaymithescrapper as well, links down below, that most of my layouts on there are all white cardstock. This year I am doing a 9x12 album. Next year I'm already doing 12x12, so I will be getting back into doing 12x12 layouts. But all my layouts at the moment are either 9x12 or 8.5 and 8.5 by 11. I'm just trying to see if I can make this style work from the thickest, but it doesn't end up staying, and also that arrow down there. I'm about to grab my Maggie Holmes sticker book and some just random stickers from my stash. I do use a 1-inch circle punch to cut out some of those circles. I do end up making a little epoxy sticker with those. They're really easy to make. You just get the epoxy stickers off of eBay. I'm just going through the sticker book here, just trying to find what I like. I think I end up choosing a purple heart that's at the very back of the book, and maybe a couple of random stickers throughout. So I do a lot of white paper backgrounds, and I'm doing 8.5 by 11 this year for my layouts, and I'm doing 9 by 12 for my Project Life. I'll talk a little bit more about Project Life in my next video when I'm uploading a Project Life video. I'd stick this purple sticker down, and I end up sticking it right there in the middle. I kind of wanted to do a cluster on top of that. I try and put this on so many places, and I end up putting it in the top right hand corner. I try and put it there, no, just put it in the top corner because that's where it's going to stay. I did want to do a little cluster on the mixed media because I thought it would look really kind of draw your eye to it. That's one thing with 6 by 12. You really are confined to the space, and it's really good to kind of push yourself to try and do something you don't often do. I don't normally do clusters on top of mixed media. I like the mixed media to speak by itself, but I couldn't really put a cluster anywhere else in my sort of aesthetic. Where have I disappeared to? I'm not sure. I think I'm grabbing a sticker possibly. I can't see. Oh, okay. I'm just grabbing the epoxy sticker here. I put down a little word as well as a gold heart from the Maggie Home sticker book, and I'm just going to stick that down with some glue. You can't really tell, but a lot of the letters were really peeling up just because of how warped it was. It was really difficult to try and squish it down. I had to stop for a bit and push it down with my hand because it wasn't staying. So I'm just grabbing some hearts from my stash. They're just from eBay. I'd really recommend going on eBay. They have some really awesome stuff, and they are so cheap. I always jump on there every now and again just looking for some new stickers. I also, just sticking that down with some I'm sticking that down with some glue. Just grabbing some more stickers from my stash. I've got these little epoxy stars. I do end up going with more of a star theme because I was getting very galaxy vibes from that background, and I thought galaxy stars, that's sort of the theme that I was going for. And cozy, sleeping stars night. So I went with stars. These are just some tiny word cut aparts from a reject store collection. They were a bit too thick for what I was going for, so I do cut them down a little bit. And I do stick them down just with some glue again. I am trying to, I picked up the heart because I did want that one up the top. I do end up having 3 clusters, so I have one in the middle with the title, one in the right hand corner, and then one underneath the girl as well. The one down the bottom is very minimal, and as well as the one at the top. So I'm just sticking those down with some glue. So let me know in the comments below how you think these videos are going. I'm really trying to work towards what you guys want. So let me know down below what type of videos you guys like. This is my first video, so I really am looking for some feedback about what you guys want, because I'm here making this for you guys, putting it out there for all of you guys. These are just the Carpe Diem sticker book stickers from Simple Stories. I don't think they sell them anymore. I've had these for ages. They're 8 sheets, and they come in cream and white, and the cream and white are the exact same words. I think I just put 2 up the top, and then I do end up putting that little golden arrow there. I wish I had 2, because I think with arrows 2 look better than 1. It just looks by itself, and it kind of, for me, it's really drawing my attention to it. Here I am just grabbing some wood veneer from my stash. This is kind of where I decided to go with more of the star look. I do grab a couple of hearts up, and then I change my mind. I do end up using the stars that are all cut out. All of my wood veneer, except for a couple, are from eBay. I have a couple from Typo, and then a couple from a design team that I am on. I'm just going to glue them down just with some wet glue. I always would recommend gluing down wood veneer and resin pieces with wet glue because it sticks the best. Can be any wet glue. Typically I would just say like a really strong cold one. You could use tacky glue. I just use this really cheap simple glue. It works. Nothing's fallen off yet, so I'm going to keep using them. I was kind of playing around the idea of using this stencil to add some more stars on them, but I don't end up using it. I think it would have been cool to do at the start, but it was just too late now. Here I am trying to grab a few resin flowers. I do end up using this one little purple one, and that's all that I use. So I'm going to glue that down with some wet glue again. Let me know down below how you think this layout's going to turn out, how you liked it. Let me know also if you've ever tried doing a 6x12 layout. It's something really fun and I do love doing it. The page protectors are a bit difficult to find, but you can always cut them if you have a few still. I've just grabbed out some watercolour and I'm going to use just my watercolour brush to do some black splatters. I wanted a little bit of splatters on there also to kind of give that galaxy theme, so I'm just testing it out to see if it'll stick and dry onto the paint markers. I'm just covering the photo with my hand because I didn't want it to go on the photo. I do use that, and I'm also going to use some gold spray. The gold spray is from Studio Calico. It's called Mr. Huey. I got it from Spotlight. It was really cheap. It's really small, but it works really well. It's not as bright as Hardy Shine, but it does work. It does look orange when you put it down, but it does shine a very, very gold. So we're coming to the end of the layout now. Thanks for watching, guys. This has been my first video. Let me know down below how you think it's gone. I'm just cleaning off a few of the splatters. The good thing about these photos is they're so shiny that I was able to wipe it all off. So here's the finished product. I'll have some photos at the end for you guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.